Hi, Team One. So in a moment, you'll be seeing the discussion that took place between Sherry Bird, Ivan Habel, and Mark Dussault about your proposal. And I just wanted to say a few words before you watched it. I wanted to both comment on their comments and comment on your process. So in terms of the comments, first of all, the sound is terrible with Ivan, and I wish I had a technology person with me, but I just didn't. And so if there's anything you don't understand that he's saying, send me the sort of I don't get minute 4, between minute 4 and minute 4:30, because I can piece it together because I was there. So what you're about to see is that you came up with a very engaging proposal, and it really pushed a button for people. They reacted both positively and negatively to social media, and I think what you'll get by the end is that yes, this is something to explore, and the question is how. The fact that they talked so long, I actually had to splice in an extra clip at the end because Sherry insisted she had something else to say, is a credit to the fact that you hit on something that clearly needs to be talked about and dug into. If I were to summarize the feedback, it would be yes, social media. How what Mark Dussault, the marketing director, said is, I don't know how we use it to get new demographics. That hasn't been my experience. What I heard from the creative side is, how do you actually integrate it into a theater experience, which is about what's going on in the room? And that it's not that it's impossible, but that it can't be an add-on, perhaps, just to traditional theater. It has to be brought into the creative act. Now, in terms of process, I have to say, for me, I'm very curious about how you came to this. Your process, what I'm impressed with is you have very clear alignment throughout your process. And what I mean by that is you say from the beginning that you want to go for 50% increase in subscribers age 50 and under. And that's your BHAG, yeah. And then actually you sort of have a clear through line of that's clearly what you're addressing once you get to your recommendation. So somehow, although you did diverge quite a bit, you managed to also stay convergent enough and focused enough. I'd be curious about whether that is your experience from the inside, and if so, how you achieved it. In general, I know that this team had a few interruptions in terms of, I know you had a particularly rough family time, and I'd be curious about how you nonetheless, from the outside at least, seem to have gone through this process in a very successful way. So what are the factors in leading innovation or going through a creative process that allows you to do so even with bumps along the way? I'd also be curious around any part, how did the process as a whole influence you? So for example, David, you came to the Belfry. Did any of your on-the-ground research inform your decisions? And if it didn't, what are the implications of that? So from my perspective, great work. I'm interested in hearing about the linkages between what you felt were successful in your process and where you felt it could be improved, what you would take forward with you, and yes, and I'm also interested in any response you have to the great dialogue that you catalyzed at the Belfry. Thank you.
I like this.
Hi, Team One.
All right, I'll go over here.
Hey, Team One. This is Amy, and I'm sitting here with Ivan, Mark, and Sherry from the Belfry. We're looking at your idea around social media. I have to say it's provoked quite a debate. And what I've been hearing so far, just to launch you right into our conversation, is the idea of how to use social media is an intriguing one, both for marketing, which is you're saying buzz before the show and also during the show. Sherry's already referred to the fact that there is tweeting at the symphony. No, there isn't. But she thinks it horrifies her. They talked about her. We've already also talked about there is a show that has explicitly integrated tweeting into the show, but that was one form of experimental theater. So there's a lot of questions about what the implications of your idea is, and I'm just going to let people talk and let the camera roll.
I guess one of the things that I was commenting on is Well, to start, that there's some ambiguity in the proposal. I'm not really clear on the extent of what is being proposed in terms of the integration of social media, and then from a practical perspective, how we deal with that within a theatrical environment where we have audience who are kind of knowledgeable and will carry on with that technology, and a vast portion of the knowledge of the audience who's not. And then in terms of the specifics, while I appreciate that we have a much clearer understanding of theatrical processes and what actually is part of our world than you would, given the limited amount of time you had to look at things. There's a real problem in dealing with the nature of a performance and what an actor's role is in that, which is to be immersed in the world that he's portraying, not simultaneously immersed in two worlds, which is something that is not attainable in a normal script. And as Amy said, the time that tweeting has been an integrated portion of the production, it was an integrated portion of the production from the get-go. It was conceived that way. So I know that other companies, other organizations have looked at kind of tweeting roles where there's a portion of the audience where electronic devices and are not asked to be turned off, that people can actively engage in communications during the course of the show. Part of me thinks that there might be some interest in looking at how you would do that and who, from the theater's perspective, would be the responder to tweets, or who would participate in that. I don't think that it would be an acting company. I think that how we deal with levels of engagement there is one thing, and whether it would have an ultimate effect on building an audience, I'm a little unclear on, but perhaps. I'll let you guys speak to it a bit more.
Well, it's a big question for sure. We do use Twitter quite a bit. I think one of the misnomers with a lot of this social media, these tools like Twitter and Facebook and Tumblr and all those other ones, is that it's going to bring a younger audience. I really haven't seen that to be a given. Some platforms, right, for us right now, Facebook is will attract a younger group. Twitter doesn't do that. Twitter is what I've found so far in using Twitter is that it's reaching a very particular group that's really interested in. Twitter is big in their lives, but it pushes against every demographic. It's not a specific tool to reach out to that younger audience in this particular way. We have tried a few other things that kind of come into this world this year. We're using Tumblr, and what we're trying to do is post things on Tumblr that we think will be of interest, that kind of take people through the process. So, for example, we're putting up different versions of posters that we're going through, and different video clips that we've developed with our artistic associate that are covering different aspects of the shows, and sometimes the actors are participating in these and learning from these. And then I think we'll just have to take a little while, because we've only been doing it for about a month, to see what kind of pickup there is on this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to build on that?
Well, a little. I think actually one of the things, I'm just glancing at your summary, Team 1, as we're speaking, and noticing what I see is a number of compelling ideas in here. And in particular, the idea of having a strategy to dissipate fears. I love this, dissipate fears the younger demographics may have. So making them comfortable knowing what to expect when they get here, more aware of what it's like to be in the theater. So there is something interesting there. Uh, so you're saying it's offering a new way of interacting. So I find that compelling. I'm finding the idea of how to do that, I'm not quite seeing laid out here, but I do find the idea compelling.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing all around is different members of the Belfry team find different ideas in there as jumping off points.
Yes.
Whether it's how to use social media in a way that actually attracts this promised demographic that it doesn't seem to have drawn in so far, whether it's how to actually attract the younger demographic and assuage fears that they may have, but that you'd like to see this taken to the next step in terms of the transformation stage. How do you take those questions and turn them into some exciting solutions? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess for me it's more a question of if you're going to use it and you're going to engage with a demographic that's used to an ongoing kind of communication and connection. I don't see the draw in the advance. I see the draw in the action. So if you're in the theater and you're using social media, I can understand where that might open up interest or engagement with younger people who are comfortable texting. But I don't know how you get them to text about something beforehand or to track to a site to get more information beforehand without them first having an interest to be there.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think, team, you have enough to think about going forward into the week. Thanks so much, Mark, Ivan, Sherry, and thanks to you, team. You said you had one more comment, Sherry?
I do have one more comment, and that is that this issue of bringing this technology of, computers and communication with the outside, it actually is a hot button for me as a theater goer. I come to where a world is created that I get to participate in or witness or escape to, and I have this belief that this stuff doesn't belong in this world, and I think that for that very reason it does belong in this world, and I think I would like to see this wrestled with on stage in the context of a play or of a production, as so many issues that in real life that we have opinions about can be explored on the stage. At this point, I think I don't want to see the theater, the way I experience theater, changing, but just as I've seen characters dealing with issues that I find difficult, this would be really interesting. I think this belongs somehow on the stage because there is a lot of emotion about it. There's a lot of opinion about it. So that is awakened when I read